No intro. We diving straight to it. The servers are the 7 Chaos. Chaos is power, enriched by the heart. The server exists to unify the chaos. Speed, power, evolution. These were all the ideas in the mind of Dr. Robotnik when he created his most devastating creation yet, getting his way and then being used as a tool for however long he wanted for world domination. No. He wasn't gonna be just a simple role. Skimming through all the databases of all his past incarnations, his brothers in a way, they all failed. Not being able to completely outdo Sonic in his speed or heroics. He thought he was going to be different. He was a superior model after all. Then the battle at Angel Island happened, and he became exactly what he despised. Another failed Sonic copy from a long list of past and probably future incarnations for the upcoming years. No, he refused to have such a role. The Phantom Ruby changed all of that. If only his short-minded creator just delved more into Angel Island's history, he may have found it. How ironic was it when his inventor was surprised when he arrived at the Death Egg first, fully adapted to his own new dark power, holding his new ticket to devastation. Pleading dumb statements like, "Mecha, what are you doing? You must obey. You blasted machine." The doctor really had peaked with him. He could see his worriness as he threw every past machine, including his 2 past brothers, Metal and Silver Sonic, at him. Silver had the power but none of the speed, and Metal Sonic gave him the most challenge, all of the speed, looking like he had his own ambition to one day create his own plans to take down the organic copy, making it all the better when he obliterated his mechanical makeup to become almost that of lost junkyard material. Even this new Heavy series line did their best. The Doctor was really quick to move on to even worse machines as he destroyed the staff and sword of both Heavies with relative ease. Starting at the Phantom Ruby, I can feel. Immediately, we're met with the scene of the optimistic Hedgehog Amy Rose sitting down during a sunset in Station Square as she stares at a Chaos Emerald she just found a couple hours ago, having a bad feeling in her stomach as she's been wanting to meet back with Sonic for a long while now, but lately the tarot cards about our hero have been looking very disheveled lately. Deciding to get up and walk her worries off, suddenly civilians begin to panic and scream. Confused at this, the pink heroine turns around to see a gigantic station she's never seen before appear. The Death Egg was quickly approaching Station Square with deafening speeds, carelessly crashing through multiple buildings. The hatchet opening as the Terminator Mecha Sonic walks straight forward towards Amy with militaristic pace. All the rest of the defeated machines and Robotnik sprawling out of the station, both being defeated and having worried looks on their faces. We cut to Sonic and Tails on the Tornado trying to reach Station Square in time with their 4 own emeralds. Tails knew all 7 emeralds being on one spot soon enough wouldn't be a good thing, but Sonic was getting impatient at this point, telling Tails that he would meet him ahead. Before he can reject, Sonic jumps off to the water below, running with adrenaline that he's never met before as purple aura surrounds him. Beginning to feel a new ability inside him as without knowing, Sonic unlocks his boost ability early, rushing towards Station Square, growling while doing so with thunderous speeds like he did Knuckles. Instantly Sonic dive kicks into Mecha Sonic in Station Square, surprising Amy as purple electricity cackles on both sides. Sonic starts by saying he didn't think Robotnik's bucket of balls was still up and kicking. Taking my new shade of blue too? But what's to expect from a long line of fakers trying to outdo the original? But don't worry, the fastest thing alive is here to grind you down to spare parts for Tails to use. Mecha Sonic just retorts back menacingly. Your futile attempts at bravado won't be saving you here, Sonic. I've merely calibrated and adapted your strange phenomenon within myself. But what you failed to mention in your drivel is what happens to anything original when technology is given enough time to surpass its functions in every way. And what's that, Mecha? As Sonic clenches his fists, it becomes infectual, useless. Rocket engineering power with chaos power as Mecha Sonic propels for a mean haymaker that Sonic is barely able to block, as both organic and machine then trade multiple kicks between each other with electrifying seed, both purple auras trying to douse the other. Sonic shows his metal copy that he's not playing after he drop dashes after a missed hook, pushing the machine towards a building, but has to put his new ability to good use as the creator releases multiple missiles that the Hedgehog evades, allowing him to get distracted for a devious spin dash in the gut. Mecha then drags his organic copy across the roads of Station Square, Sonic countering as they both begin to make a makeshift race between each other across the city. Amy was now bound to her spot in fear, not only questioning why an even scary version of Metal Sonic was here, but how Sonic looked. His pupils were gone, fur looking different. What happened to her whole knight in shining armor for him to become so unnerving? Looking down at the Chaos Emerald, she even sees the emerald gray out a little bit due to the response in the battle going on. She had to help out somehow, and if that meant this gem not getting in his hands, then she was all up for it, looking for a hiding spot as she prays for the protagonist's safety. It isn't looking good though for said protagonist. The beginning stretch, Sonic had clearly had the upper hand, using everything in his toolkit. Drop dashes, spin dashes, kicks, punches, even instinctually trying out the instant shield for the first time in this transformation, which now mutated into a razor spear of wind. The Hedgehog chuckling that he was glad Knuckles wasn't here. He was able to now dish out all this frustration himself. The Hedgehog though would begin to realize that his doppelganger seemed to just be getting stronger after each series of attacks, his diagnostics mimicking Sonic's own power, almost like he was purposely getting hit by Sonic's egregious attack. The Terminator humming with a This doesn't break Sonic's spirit though, him gladly letting loose in a manic spy himself. All that self-control talk, warring from Tails. If he just beat the bad guys quick enough, then that's all that matters, aggressive methods or not. His opponent though decides to switch methods, specifically to the emeralds. Mecha Sonic will begin to pivot mid-air, zooming back towards Amy for the last Chaos Emerald. Angered even further, Sonic barely kicks to defend, using the cooldown to again spin dash towards Amy. Sonic would counter again, asking loud, "You're not getting that emerald. I will. You leave Amy out of this." The robot responds, another critique that he wasn't going to have unlike his original, and that was a concern for any life around him. He lacked the ability to throw everything at him regardless of consequences. This pattern repeating till Sonic is the first one to be too slow. Mecha landing a clean slap towards Amy, knocking the 7th emerald in the air. The pink hedgehog barely able to stand up after attack before Sonic grabs her and puts her to safety. Amy though looks at Sonic with fear. Him rocking the same power as the robot wasn't helping things. Dark Sonic was now angrier than ever, using his new boost ability to break apart Mecha's leg lift, malfunctioning it, then uppercutting the machine to a nearby building, pouncing back to his copy to do another series of blows, but Mecha decides to return the favor twofold, smashing both his fists against Sonic's arms, rendering them temporarily useless. Another weakness I'll fail to have. Once I have all 7 emeralds and combine his abilities with the Phantom Ruby, I'll be the mightiest. When all hope seems lost for the mechanical copy, as he's just about to reach the emerald, but like a W sidekick, Tails finally swoops in with the tornado, grabbing the Chaos Emerald at the same time. Tails, Doll, and the two heavy partners, Magician and Rider, also make their appearance in Station Square at the same time, here to aid their creator in their predicament. Robotnik now finally having the confidence to show himself by the perimeter of the Death Egg, cartoonishly has his creation surround him like shields. The Doctor was in a panic, not noticing the remains of Metal and Silver Sonic power back on their own for their own desperate plan. With a robotic beep of so many ants, so little time, Mecha Sonic starts his routine by using one of his last few missiles to blow up the tornado into smithereens. He then goes to battle Tails Doll, where even with his copied abilities, he's barely keeping up with his senior. The adapting effects finally wearing off. Heavy Rider and Magician jump into fight as well. Mecha though grabs the modal bug of Rider and sends them both up into the sky to be destroyed by an upcoming energy beam, while then turning around to a Magician whose illusionary effects can't match the Phantom Ruby protecting the Sonic robot, using the gem actually to drain any of its magical machinery away before being flattened under the foot of Mecha Sonic, finally taking a break to admire his handiwork, collecting the emeralds in their possession. Tails, Amy, and surprisingly even Robotnik for the first time have come to a truce, surrounding Sonic on what they can possibly do. All three of them noticing that as Sonic's condition, hair no longer staying up but still with the same color tint, the Hedgehog then began to desperately ask where the emeralds were located. It was their only way of getting out of this situation. The good doctor was wary of this. The only way to win in this situation was to take the Phantom Ruby from his hands. Tails, in this state, being the only one with any significant speed to do such attacks, creates a mock plan in his head to try, even as he shivered. Following just like Sonic said, he was a hero now. No more bullies could affect him. Everyone rebuked such an idea, even Sonic, but it's already too late. Mecha Sonic dashes forward to the group with one good leg as a revenge for earlier, preparing to power up with all 7 emeralds in the vicinity. Tails flies forward anyways, but when he sees the menacing look on the machine, just for a second, all of his Freddy Fox nature returns back to him. Freezing midair in fear, but the last thing he sees is a blue blur barely getting in front of him, and buildings. Gravity that disobeys the laws of logic in constant rain. This is the environment Sonic the Hedgehog suddenly wakes up to, blinking twice as he tries to make sure that he didn't croak out or anything, considering he was just in a life-threatening battle just now. Getting up from his position, the Hedgehog slowly walks around in this weird dimension, as regardless of what was going on, he had a pretty bad feeling about this place. It isn't long on the Hedgehog's stroll that he comes across himself? Oh brother, another faker. Who are you supposed to be? Sonic replies, with the strange copy menacingly saying, I'm the only reason why your buddy is still alive. Or do you not remember our deal, partner? This other visage of Sonic fidgeted forward to meet face to face, creepy in his movements but nothing more noticeable than the spiral eyes where his pupils were supposed to be, showing an almost demonic nature. Sonic, having enough of copies lately, thinks this guy is crazy, but with a snap of his fingers, Sonic suddenly remembers. The copy would begin to tap his feet impatiently like the Hedgehog would, grinning wider as he begins to monologue that he didn't get this whole heroic stuff the Hedgehog was on. Why not tear everything apart? The power he gave to him was all for that purpose after all. And he was letting that dang doctor and a weak excuse of them cause that much destruction? Nah, it was his turn to go out there. Sonic shocked at this but still not backing down, saying he didn't need his help. The fastest thing alive, saying he had more friends to save and less hallucinations to have. After taking a look into the other Sonic's eyes, all the memory would flash. He left the death egg, that time-saving Tails. Even when he turned into his dark form for the first time, he could swear there was always a whisper in his head talking. Even that whole meditation practice Knuckles was trying to make him do. Playing along now, Sonic crosses his arms and asks what's with this whole fascination with the emeralds anyway. The spiral-eyed clone just grins back with the same confidence, saying that's where he was born from. The blessing from the emeralds, the negative chaos energy from Robotnik and Sonic's body all culminated in his very being. It's only with the emeralds he can be himself. Chaos, destruction, but most of all, power. That's all he wanted to have fun with, and whether his partner liked it or not, they were stuck together for the long run, still grinning that he still had his end of the bargain to fulfill. We are going to destroy that machine and Robotnik forever. Stretching an arm out for the blue bird to shake, but getting a bad feeling out of this like anyone do, he waves the demonic reflection off with a wave. Suddenly though, the mental run begins to shake with a yellow tint. Turning around with a fake look of concern, the elder Sonic says there wasn't much time left, wasn't there? That Mecha Sonic was going to power up to his own super form. And with his injuries and all, his friends were done for, and he would end up killing all of his friends in the area. At least, before he did, but he said that last part in his head. Sonic replies with a what? I don't need a fake copy of me talking. I'll just get everyone out of here with my speed, and immediately responding back, speed? Beginning to laugh manically. Where was this speed back on Angel Island? Or did you forget what happened with Tails? For the first time in a while, the Hedgehog's cocky nature breaks temporarily. Putting both his arms wider like a theater performance, the demon says, "So what's it gonna be then? You can feel the chaos energy, can't you? Are you going to trust me or the robot for your friends' safety?" The ultimate ultimatum. Sonic's mental realm was only shaking more violently by the second. Sonic, deciding to push away his confidence for his friends' sake, gives a hesitant sign of acceptance. Immediately, the reflection begins to laugh, flying forward towards the Hedgehog's body, because this was going to be fun. Because he was going to finally do things his way. It was time for the emergence of Fleetway. Boom. Returning back to Station Square, Mecha Sonic could feel the energy coursing through him stop instantly. Tails, Amy, Robotnik, Tails though, all of them turned their attention to a yellow pillar of light that strangely seemed to pulsate with red energy. The ground begins to shake disturbingly, with laughter that's heard throughout the whole city. Never having seen a super form before, Amy and Tails look hopeful. A Robotnik, he has the opposite reaction. As with demonic speeds, a yellow flashes instantly upon said doctor. A fist swung back with such chaotic force, if it wasn't for Heavy Rider coming in to sacrifice himself, it may have been the way in for the world's greatest scientific genius. Landing down disappointed at his miss, Super Sonic? No. Fleetway stands before all with electric sparks surrounding his whole body, with a manic smile accompanying it. Robotnik was now more nervous than ever. I mean, it's not every day you see the thing that destroys your Death Egg casually reappear again. And he was starting to run out of robots to protect him, especially with Metal and Silver Sonic being off and disappearing. Fleetway stares down the doctor deviously, even giving Amy and especially Tails a look. He liked the fear he was seeing in all these people, and soon enough though he'll get rid of them all, because then his partner won't have anyone else to worry about or turn to but him. Dark Mecha Sonic for the first time in this battle shows a little bit of concern, but also insight, as he responds, "So that's it. That's what made Sonic's power the way it was," while clutching the Phantom Ruby, as Fleetway retorts back, "Oh yeah, this is happening." A real crash out fight beginning with violent calculations, Fleetway growing his claws to take a devious strike against Mecha Sonic, his systems taking more damage in this one attack than any other fight he's ever had. Almost trying to enjoy his freedom, Fleetway would begin to put his hands behind his back and laugh crazy-like as he shows his proficiency in turning thoughts into power. The yellow hedgehog seemingly bouncing all over the terrain cartoonishly. Mecha Sonic, recovered now, turns to turn his damage into power as he attempts to replicate Sonic's dark boost power, slamming both fists into Fleetway's face. For a second, the demon stops smiling. Barely moving from the attack, he just disappointingly says, "Please." Uppercutting Mecha Sonic to next month before instantly being upon him to slam him right back down to a building, then dashing forwardly mockingly, trying to show him this is how you really boost, as he lightspeed tackles Mecha Sonic throughout the whole block, indirectly hitting Amy, who was in the crossfire, but he didn't really care regardless, because systems were beginning to fail him. Getting flashbacks of Angel Island, he clutches the Phantom Ruby for power one last time, creating portals for him to escape his predicament, just in time too, for a flood of negatively powered laser beams to be coming his direction, devastating the city's damages even more, Fleetway laughing in midair at his handiwork himself. All of his newfound confidence gone seeing his hero like this. Amy was unconscious as Sonic didn't even care at all. Was this what happened at the Death Egg? And looking at Robotnik's face only confirmed it. What was he supposed to do? No plan could go against the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Self-doubt being evident on his face while the doctor gains anger. Refusing to go out like this, he runs back to the Death Leg in an attempt to get it back under control, as Tail Doll shows signs of disobedience by not following his creator. Honestly curious at the outcome. With no other choice, the two-tailed fox yells out to Sonic that he wasn't like this, having guilt that he couldn't have helped Sonic sooner with this condition. All of this just angers and distracts Fleetway. In this moment, strangely, finally, Metal and Silver Sonic in their messed up states attack Fleetway. Their priority of taking down Mecha Sonic earlier was now switched to taking down the original. Metal, with hatred of wanting one day to have plotted his own plan on a grand scale, while Silver attaches on, refusing to be used for scraps one day. Seeing the opportunity, strangely both creator and creation think at the same time. Mecha using the last of his power to condense a blast with the Phantom Ruby, while Robotnik fires a huge beam from the Death Egg, both beams colliding in DBZ faction as a beam struggle happens with the 4v1. The Phantom Ruby with his power actually causing the demon to struggle just for a little bit. Annoyed that something could stand to the Chaos Emeralds, Fleetway powers up to its fullest, going all out to punch the Phantom Ruby with so much negative energy so he can get rid of it. But something else happens instead. The red sparks of Fleetway's fist touches the Phantom Ruby, suddenly causing a chaotic reaction as the ruby itself darkens. These two powers weren't meant to interact this way. Mecha, Metal, and Silver Sonic have no idea what's going on as a chaotic reaction creating a dimensional force almost binds the three robots forcefully as Fleetway and the Death Egg are blown back into the explosion. An earthquake happens, just like when a Fleetway appears as a robotic whirling is heard throughout the whole city. A new robot, still in dark blue, emerges. The machine looked taller, more refined, but most noticeable, the dark and Phantom Ruby seemed to be fused within its very being. Tails and Robotnik were both scientifically shocked on what just happened. What happened to the three other robots? It's like the new fused machine was pondering its own existence, no longer looking at Fleetway but to the sky with its new abilities as it was able to see differing realities, futures, possibilities. His ambition was now threefold. Angered at being ignored, Fleetway growls as he just made his fun all the more better, flying forward the new amalgamation himself, Metalix. Knew his power still didn't match Sonic's until a later date, but with a lazy wave of his hand, a pink porter teleports the demon to a different dimension, the Special Zone. Eventually, the Speed Demon uses his speed to break the barriers to return back to the present, immediately grab calling Metalix to end this fight so he can go right back to having fun. Strangely though, Metalix looked confident, casually mentioning that one of the best abilities of the fabled Phantom Ruby, what made him attracted to its use in the first place, was its way of making perfect illusions. As with a blink, Metalix was no longer there. He was standing back in the middle of the city. When Fleetway looked down to see who had been grabbing this whole time, a badly bruised and beaten Tails meets his spiral eyes. The mood immediately being switched as Sonic is actually able to force himself to gain back control, returning back to base as he couldn't believe what just happened. Looking back, he even sees Amy in a similar condition. The city overall looked like it was hit by a meteorite, and it was all his fault because of his power, letting that thing out, even letting what Metalix became what he is. Metalix though was unfazed, originally annoyed at his plans being detracted, but it seems it's just what he needed. The amalgamated CPUs of the once Metal Sonic pushing his voice to say, there can only be one Sonic. Charging up a blast to get rid of his organic copy for good, when all of a sudden from the sky, wham! A combined punch of SBO Knuckles disturbs Metalix. Team Chaotix with Knuckles and the Heavy and Bomb duo make their appearance. The Echidna and Ninja were ready to throw down to save their friends from Metalix, but almost like a premonition came out. The robot just stops and chuckles. His makeup was still that of two barely functioning robots that he did need to recover from. Knowing that the Echidna's pit still had the possibility of going super as well, he still needed to blast over to that planet Aquarius, as the Ruby foretold him through various futures, so that his domination of the universe would go about easier. Chuckling with crossed arms, instead of fighting, Metalix begins to flow in the air. He needed a team eventually to help him out with his plans, with almost some strange of technokinesis and persuasion. Tails Doll 2 would begin to flow in the air. The remains of Heavy Ninja and Heavy King 2 all gravitated towards Metalix, as they all gained purpose in their eyes, the Phantom Ruby almost possessing them with the same vision of domination and freedom like Metalix got. None giving a bat of the eyes, even their creator yells at them to come back here, but with one last look, saying that one day the demon will react differently when he fights against a deity. The Ford machine strangely blasting off into space with pink energy, no longer being noticeable. Knuckles now seeing that the bad feeling he has was right, he looks at the destruction around him. The Chaotix too, low-key being glad the robot guy took off. They doubted they were gonna do much to him anyway. Soon enough, we're met with the scene of Tails and Amy recovering in Station Square Hospital. No Sonic in sight, as a note was left by the Chaotix of their contact information, and the fact that they were helping out civilians from the battle a few days ago. Amy, upon waking up, demanding Tails to tell him what was going on and everything he knew, questioning why Sonic wasn't around. They now had two evil forces they had to worry about, one in their greatest hero and another in their greatest adversary. The Fox and Hedgehog, with Heavy and Bomb in tow, decided to stay with the duo, vowing to find Sonic back and get stronger together all around the way. All while a certain doctor deals with all the damages that he's been having to deal with, wanting nothing to do with machinery at the moment, as he does begin to remember the legend behind Knuckles' people. Later on that night, in the newly built Chaotix Detective Agency, a whoosh is heard at nighttime. SBO being the only one to notice this, he goes outside to meet Sonic with no cocky attitude, with a face expression more serious than ever, asking SBO if his offer of his way of training was still there. As this is where I'll be leaving the story off for right now. See, y'all need to stop bothering me, bro. Look, every time I drop in this series, it's a banger. Like, y'all saw everything I was trying to build up to? Yes, sir. As you guys have noticed, this is the end of the Classic Saga. Next time on this series will be Adventure 1. What are some of you guys' thoughts and predictions? What's gonna happen? I mean, after that amazing cooking, dog, I need y'all to start hopping on the Patreon and Cash App, bro. Throw a couple dollars my way, bro. I hope the wait was worth it. We're almost gonna reach 6K subscribers, so eventually I might have a Q&A special going on, and then after that, then either before or after that, I'll be starting my Patreon exclusive series soon. So make sure you guys look forward to that. Also give, Krillin some love, bro. I'm starting to build a fan base of Krillin fans, alright? Yes, sir. Anyways, I still can't believe you guys voted for Bowser, bro. I was really looking forward to that Four Swords story, but that story will become a thing maybe in July or something, bro. I don't know. Anyways, like always, thank you guys for watching. Comment your thoughts. If you don't have any, just type algorithm fuel. Do your boy a favor and check out my second channel too for game reviews to go back to being consistent, and I'll be back soon enough. And that's all for me. Have a blessed rest of y'all day, bro, in Jesus' name.